So you're going to mark your own. Your job is to, if you make a mistake, annotate it in such a way so that you won't do it again. When you're done, I'll collect the quizzes. If you want to do corrections, you can either hang on to the quiz and do your corrections right away. Then it's up to you to remember to submit it with the new score, crossing out the old score so it's obvious what you want your new score to be. Or if you want to hand it in, get it back, and do your corrections a couple of days from now so that way it sticks in your memory better. Whatever works for you, I don't care. Oh, this is my favorite student. Good old Anne Surkey. She gets everything right. It's great. Number one. Someone will explain the joke to Aiden because I don't think he got it. Number one. Write the... Anne Surkey. She gets everything right. Oh, it took you that long to figure it out? Wow. Wow. I have never had a class take that long to figure it out. Wow.
I'm not good at English, so
And he called me out on that. Nobody got it.
All of you, I say again, wow.
because we're kids.
Yes, should it be Ann?
Number one.
Should be Ann.
Wait, you put
Times
an
10 to the what? 5 or 6. So I would go half mark for the 1.23 and half mark to the 10 to the 5th. 1 times 10 to the negative 3 or 4? Good. 2.5 times 10 to the negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? And 7.8062. Since they didn't give me any rounding off instructions, I'll put every non-zero digit, every significant figure, times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So half mark for the front part, half mark for the 10 to the. Number 2 says, perform the following operations on your calculator. Use the correct number of sig figs. All right, 2 sig figs, 2 sig figs. I'm going to round to 2 sig figs. I go to my calculator. 5.0 times 10 to the 4th times 1.6, scientific notation button, negative 3. Why is that wrong? Why is it wrong even if it wasn't in scientific notation? So why would this be wrong? I have to go to 2 sig figs, which means you have to put the 0.0 there. If you did not, squadoosh, 0, zip, zilch, ixnay, nada, you get nothing. Because I want you to be grumpy if you made that mistake. Oh, it's not times 10 to the 2, it's 10 to the 1. Thank you. Sloppy mistake, my point there. Now, if you didn't write 10 to the 1, if you just wrote 10 because it's understood that there's a 1 there, I'm fine with that. Okay, there, 80, 10 to the 1. Sorry about that. B, 2 sig figs, 2 sig figs. My final answer is going to go to 2 sig figs. 1.5, scientific notation button, negative 5 divided by 3.5, scientific notation button, 8. Now, technically, there's more than one thing on the bottom. There's a 3.5 and there's a times 10 to the 8th. If I use my scientific notation button, I can get away without brackets because the software knows that this is all one number and I will get an answer. If I don't use my scientific notation button, if I type 1.5 times 10 to the power of negative 5 divided by 3.5 times 10 to the power of 8. I get the 4.28, I get the digits, but the decimal's in the wrong place because the software didn't know that that 10 to the 8 was on the bottom. So that's why, Nick, I really encourage you, use your scientific notation button. Anyways, let me bring back the correct one, which was this one here. I get 4.2857, oh, 2 sig figs, 4.3 times 10 to the negative 14. All or nothing. Number 3 is tricky. How do I add and subtract sig figs with scientific notation? Well, remember I told you it has to do with the number of decimal places. The problem here is in scientific notation, I can't really see how many decimal places there were originally. Question, Aiden? Okay. So what I actually have to do is unscientific notation this. 0.00075 plus 0.00013. How many decimal places? This went to 5 decimal places. This went to 6 decimal places. I'm going to go to 5 decimal places. So I'm going to go 0.00075 plus 0.00013. I got an answer in scientific notation, but that doesn't help me yet. I'm going to write it out standard form. So 7.63 times 10 to the negative 4 is going to be 0.000763. How many decimal places am I going to go to? Is that 6 going to stay a 6 or become a 7? Final answer, 7.6 times 10 to the negative 4. That's tricky. It's also a lot of work for just one question, Owen. If you got it right, then you're fine. By the way, there's a way to also do that without rewriting it. I can actually track it in my head. And if you can't, great. There's shortcuts for everything. Turn the page. 2 sig figs, 2 sig figs. Final answer is going to be the 2 sig figs. My calculator happened to give me an answer in scientific notation to 2 sig figs, so I'm going to be lazy and just go 2.4 times 10 to the negative 4, or you could have gone 0.00024. Either of those are fine, all or nothing. 3 sig figs, 4 sig figs. I'm going to go to 3 sig figs. Mr. Duick, why didn't you go 40.0 divided by 30.00? Will those make a difference on my calculator in the answer? I'm lazy but organized. I'm not going to type extra stuff that I don't need to. I'll track the sig figs. How many sig figs am I going to go to? 3, 1.33. Exactly that, all or nothing. 2 sig figs, 2 sig figs. 5.1, scientific notation button, negative 5 divided by 6. Scientific notation button, negative 7. I got conveniently an answer that was to 2 sig figs. Note to self, I need to change that, so you have to do some rounding off, is what happens when I make up questions at random. I'm about to make a mistake. See if you can spot it. 3 sig figs, 4 sig figs. What's my mistake? For adding and subtracting has nothing to do with sig figs. What is it instead, George? 2 decimal places, 3 decimal. I'm going to go to 2 decimal places. 5.06 plus 8.124. 13.18. 13.18. 3 decimal places, 1 decimal place. 615.824 minus 55.2. 560.6. Can you give yourself a lovely score at the top? If you need, out of 12, if you need to lawyer with me, now is the time.